everyone. It's time for another episode of the Inside Voice podcast. I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We like to start off with some good news, and this one is, I guess, a tad personal to me. You know that I'm reading through the Bible this year. I'm in 1 Samuel right now, and it's like the story of David. So King David, I haven't got to the point yet where he has taken the throne, but he's been anointed. Samuel has anointed him, and King Saul is like not happy about it. So Daniel's actually on the run right now. That's where I'm at in the Bible. The good news I want to share with you is like I'm seeing more and more media, like more movies and shows be made about these Bible stories, and it makes me really excited. Like when The Chosen came out, I was all in on that. If you haven't watched The Chosen, it's on Amazon Prime Video. It's like one of the top shows on Amazon. And it's just the story of Jesus. And I think they've done maybe 4 or 5 seasons, maybe 5, with another one on the way. And it's so beautiful to me to see those stories personified, because it reminds us that the people in the Bible that we read about were actually people. Like they actually lived, and they experienced a lot of the same emotions that we experience, fear and anxiety and insecurity, but also they experienced things like love and joy and faith, faith in God. And so there's just so many that I've seen come out. They're making, of course, I was talking about David and me reading through Samuel. There's a series on Amazon called House of David. So it's really fun to like see the stuff that I'm reading played out in this show. And of course, they take some creative liberties here. It's not, there's factual stuff in there. And then there's stuff of like, oh, if I were to just kind of dream up what would happen in between the lines on the page, what would it be? So, you take it with a grain of salt, but it's kind of, it's thrilling to watch it played out. So there's Chosen, House of David, couple of movies that are coming out. They're making one about Daniel, which is one of my favorite books in the Bible. And then they're also doing Moses. What else did I see? Oh, there's like this whole Women of Faith series that's out as well, highlighting women in the Bible. Like it's exciting to me, if we're meant to go out and make disciples of the nations, if we're meant to be fruitful and multiply and like share God's word and expand the kingdom. Like I feel like this is such a great way to do it, because it piques interest. It gets people thinking like, oh, these things that are in the Bible like actually happened. They're not just fairy tales that people have been, passing along from generation to generation. So it's exciting to me. It's good news in my opinion. And man, I'm just like eating that stuff up. Now, I'll be honest with you. Like when I was a kid, I was a preacher's kid, grew up going to church. Like you could not get me to watch this stuff. Like it was so boring to me. So I think also like just this stage of life that I'm in and where I'm at in my walk with God, like it is just so appealing to me right now. And I'm just like eating it all up. So good news, if you want to check some of those things out, I highly recommend that you do. If anything, if you already love Jesus and you're a follower of Christ, it's going to make you want to do a deep dive into the scriptures to like look at them in a different way. Again, seeing these things played out, seeing human emotion be put into the stories that we've heard over and over and over again, it's exciting and it makes you read differently. So it's our good news for the day. I have a feeling that this is going to be an episode and a series in general that might be canceled, that might be demonetized, that might be pushed down a little bit by social media, dare I say, censored, because we're talking about how social media is ruining your life. I've got a couple of ways that I want to dive into over the next couple of weeks. And a lot of these we know, but I think just kind of taking a deeper look at them and understanding how these apps on our phone are like really affecting our lives is going to create positive change. It's going to make us want to change the way that we interact with them and hopefully get back to a point where we're living a life that just feels more intentional, more fulfilled, more engaged, if you will. Don't get me wrong, social media can be a wonderful thing. Social media has allowed me to keep up with people that I went to high school with. Social media has allowed me to check in on people that I haven't heard from in a while, or, look up somebody and be able to pray for them. Social media has really open doors as well, connections with people in the industry that I work in, country music and broadcast in general. It's opened up an opportunity for me to network with people that do the same thing that I do. Like I got my radio girls that I follow and support, and it's a great tool. And if you are somebody that you make a living on social media, wonderful. I love that for you. If you've got a business and you do sales on social media, or you use it to promote your business and your business has grown because of social media, please don't hear me wrong. That's a wonderful thing. And I am cheering for you. But I'm talking about what's happening outside of that. I'm talking about the way that social media may be robbing you of progress, maybe robbing you of a life that is fulfilled. Maybe rob isn't, maybe it's too strong of a word. It's distracting you from being engaged in your life. So we're going to dive into some ways that I think social media is ruining your life. The first is time. This is an obvious one. We know that social media takes away our time. I can't tell you how many times, saying that word a lot, open up social media, open up my phone, and the first thing I go to is social media. And before I even realize it, I have wasted 20 minutes scrolling on social media. 20 minutes that I could have been doing God knows what, Maybe I went to my phone to actually do something productive and I got distracted. Maybe I went to my phone thinking that I would just take a little mental break for maybe 30 seconds, and it ended up taking a huge chunk of my time. And now I'm chasing that 20 minutes for the rest of the day. We know this happens, right? I mean, I think we see all around us, like you go out to dinner, you see people, they're just on their phones. And they're missing the time with the people that are around them. You know what I mean? And sure, they might be sharing videos with one another, but sometimes I'm a believer that life is made up of the small moments. Sure, there's big, wonderful things that happen in our life, but there's also just the moments that most people would consider boring, where life kind of gets lost. Whether it's you're waiting for your food at the table and you're with your girlfriends, and sure, you're doing brunch, but you're also on your phone. Or maybe it's, we just wrapped up dinner and now we're just kind of chilling on the couch as a family. We could do something as a family, but we're all just on our phones because we're checking out from the day. We're zoning out because it's been a stressful day. You're missing out on those boring moments, quote unquote, that could lead to intimate moments. It could lead to good conversation. It could lead to spontaneity to try something new with your family. My husband and I have been trying really hard to be intentional about the time that we are together. And so we've been putting our phones in the other room when we sit down for dinner or we watch a movie together. And it's nice, it causes us to be engaged in dinner, but also be engaged with the movie that we're watching. And, sometimes we'll pause the movie and we'll just chat about something for a second, then we'll go back to the movie. I love that. Those are not moments that we would have normally had if we were just glued to our phones, just filling the time. You know what I mean? So I want to look at this idea of social media stealing our time in two different ways. And the first way is that distraction. That first way is moments that are stolen from us, time that is stolen from us, and we don't even realize how much time we are losing. Sometimes it's hard to think about the little things in day-to-day life adding up to big things, but hello, that's where I live. I am a huge advocate for small things adding up to make a big difference. Little consistencies done over and over and over again add up to big results. It's kind of like that snowball effect, right? You have one little bit of piece of snow and it starts rolling and picking up more and more and more and more. And finally, it just turns into this massive snowball. Or it could be the idea of ants, ants on their own, one ant. What is he going to do? You can smash that between your fingers, right? Sorry, gross visual. But a bunch of ants can make a lot of damage. They can cause a lot of damage. They can move a lot of dirt. They can make a lot happen. And again, it's just it's a bunch of tiny little things adding up to a big difference. There's a video that I would love for you to see on social media. This took my breath away. It's from Dino Ambrosi. Have you seen this? The dot visualization. So he's a digital wellness speaker. His whole thing is don't get caught up in digital. Don't get caught up on socials. Technology is great, but it can also steal a lot from you. So you can tell why I relate to this man. But essentially, he puts up this chart in the speech that I've seen on social media, and it's a representation of your life from the age of 18 to the age of 90. Let's say you get to age 90 before you leave this earth and move on. So he has all these dots, and the dots represent months of your life from the age of 18 to 90 years old. 1,080 dots on this screen. Then he starts filling in the dots, and the dots are filled with sleeping, which takes up 288 months of your life. School, if you go to college and you do any kind of higher learning at the age of 18, 126 months. Then he gets into, like the mundane things like driving and food and, like eating or ordering food. Administrative things like going to the doctor or setting up an appointment, sitting in a meeting, something like that. He also looks at like hygiene moments, spending time in the bathroom. Collectively, of that 1,080 months, after you factor in like just day-to-day things, you're left with 334 months of spare time, for lack of a better term. This is where life is really lived. It's not the to-do list. It's not the task list. It's not the school. It's not the job. It's not the personal self-care. It's not the working out. It is the parts of your life, or it's the months of your life where you get to build something. You build your character here. You build your passions here. You build your hobbies here. What you do with those 334 months of your quote unquote free time ultimately determines who you are, who's around you, and really what your life was worth, because this is the color of your life. It's not the day-to-day black and white, have to get these things done. Like, this is the fun stuff. This is where life is lived. And what's interesting is if you look at 18-year-olds right now, according to Dino Ambrosi, the average pace that they are on with the amount of time that they spend on social media, they will spend 93% of the 334 months of life that they have for their free time on a screen. Whether that's video games, social media, streaming services like Netflix, 93% of that free time spent staring at a screen. This made me gasp. Like, I audibly gasped at this thinking, what? And I'm over the age of 18. So I'm sitting here thinking, like, how much of this time have I already wasted? Now, I know that when I was 18 years old, we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have, like, they were about to come, or they were starting to come on the market, but they were wildly expensive. We didn't have so many social media sites. Like, you had to be in college to be on Facebook. MySpace was a thing, but that was kind of it. Yeah, AOL Messenger was a thing, but it wasn't in your back pocket. You know what I mean? But again, since that stuff has come around, I'm like, whoa, how much time have I spent staring at a screen, whether it is binge watching a show or scrolling through social media? So of the 334 months, 312 of those are going to be spent staring at a screen. What does that leave us with? Well, 22 months. That's less than 2 years. Imagine if you went your entire life and you only had 2 years to actually live. I'm like shaking. Doesn't that freak you out? Doesn't that make you think, what am I doing with my life? And again, it's just so easy for us to grab our phones, to sit on the couch and pull up a show, and before you know it, we've wasted hours. And those hours turn into days, turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years, turns into your life. That, when I saw that visual, stopped me dead in my tracks. I mean, it terrifies me to think that of the things that I want to do with my life, I only have a certain amount of time to do it. And I do not want to be wasting that time on social media, on a screen. Now, one of the reasons why it's so easy for us to lose that time, to lose, let's call that our creative time, to lose our leisure time, to lose our free time, we just so easily get distracted. Distraction is something that will rob you of your life. Distraction will rob you of quality time with your family. Distraction will rob you from climbing the ladder of whatever job you're at. Distraction will rob you of living a life that is absolutely fulfilled. And the craziest thing about distraction is that you don't even know it's happening. You don't. Again, we talked about picking up our phones and thinking it's only been 5 minutes when it's been 15. Or, oh, this will only take a second. I just want to check in and check some messages or see how many likes I got on that last video. And then suddenly you're on the explore page, or you're scrolling through TikTok and it's just going so quickly, and you're on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And suddenly it's like, okay, I don't even remember what I was supposed to do here. I don't even remember what I was doing before this, but now I'm like in this fog, and it takes a moment to come out of the fog. And the crazy thing is, social media is engineered to distract you. Social media is engineered to make you stay on the platform. Same with video games, same with streaming services. I mean, I don't want to come up down too hard on social media because there's other players in the game that are taking away from you, you know? I mean, think about Netflix. You finish a show and you have 3 seconds until the next show starts. Or on Hulu, I've been binge watching Cheers from back in the day. I give myself 2 episodes for my lunch hour and that's it. But it's like, as soon as that one episode ends, before the credits even roll, it's like, watch another episode and it starts. Watch another episode, starts. Watch. It's literally like 2.5 seconds before the next episode is already starting. They want to get you engaged to the next one. So you're like, yeah, I can watch another one. It's not a big, it's 20 minutes. It's an old sitcom. It'll be fine. Video games, same thing. New life. Start again, you know, like they hit you with that screen immediately. Want to go again? Want to play again? You tried so hard, messed up, want to fix it? And social media, like, you can get lost on that explore page so easily. And have you ever noticed that when you're scrolling on social media, most of the stuff, at least for me, that you see on your homepage, it's not even from the people that you follow. So you got to dig to find the content that you're actually looking for. See, social media wants to give you more. You know, they want to distract you. They want to keep you binging and being engaged with the platform. At the end of the day, it's a business. It may sound like, oh, this is here for my benefit. This is here for me to engage with the world or stay informed or engage with my friends. No. Instagram and Facebook, they are a business. They want you on their platforms. Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all of them, they're a business. They want you on their platforms because the longer you're on the platform, the more money they can make off of you. Wild, right? I actually got into a little bit of dopamine with this, because if we're going to talk about social media as being something that distracts us and something that we engage with even when we don't want to, I think we have to talk a little bit about how we can become addicted to social media. And that comes from the dopamine hit. It comes from, ooh, I liked that video. Ooh, that made me feel something. Ooh, it shocked me. Ooh, it can be a happy emotion. It can be a sad emotion, but basically like it's this hit, this rush of emotion that makes you go, I kind of want to have that again. And you don't even know what's going on. This is something that is working in your brain. So there's a book that's called Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke. And she talks about this. She breaks down how dopamine is like the feel-good reward chemical. Because again, I think a hit like this can even come from a jump scare or a thrill or an adventure, a shock, you know? You feel an emotion, the chemicals are firing, and like your brain kind of starts to look for that again. And that's where that reward complex comes in. But repeated exposure creates a dopamine deficit. It creates a reward deficit. So let's say you've never had chocolate ice cream before. So you have chocolate ice cream, and it's the greatest experience of your life. Like, you are thrilled. Wonderful. Well, the next time you go have chocolate ice cream, like, oh, it's still really, really good, but there's a slight deficit there. And the next time you have chocolate ice cream, still love it, slight deficit. Next time you have chocolate ice cream, so freaking good, slight deficit. The more you engage with it, the more you have chocolate ice cream, the more that you are firing that dopamine, that reward chemical in your brain, the less you're going to respond to it. Therefore, the more of it you need to feel that same high, to feel that same euphoric feeling. This is dangerous. This is where addiction habits are formed. So you need more of the thing to feel the same effect. So your body starts reaching for it, looking for it more often. And social media gives you that dopamine reward chemical. Because again, you're engaging with content that makes you feel something. But also, you look at social media, everything is visual. You know, there's colors and there's lights and there's all sorts of things, you know, going to the next video, next video, next video. Like, they say if you're going to, grow your engagement on social media, you have to hit people in the first 3 seconds. So yeah, a hook or a stunning visual, like, you're trying to hook that person in. And if you're seeing that over and over and over again, you're constantly getting those reward chemicals fired off in your brain, the dopamine fired off in your brain. Well, what is going to happen the longer you scroll? Deficit, deficit, deficit. So now you're scrolling longer to feel the same way. Now you're opening the apps more often to get the same effect that you got the first time that you got on social media. It's an endless cycle. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you've ever experienced the hit of following somebody new. Same thing. You find somebody that, is into what you're into. It could be baking. It could be, fitness. It could be business strategies. I don't know, whatever you're into. And you're like, ooh, follow them. And you get excited to follow them because it's new content. Again, it's that dopamine hit. We're going to it constantly with social media. The problem that we have here is that the source never runs out. If we're addicted to this thing called social media, we will never run out of social media. If we're addicted to engaging with content on social media, we will never run out of content. TikTok has content for centuries, I'm sure. There are billions of people on this planet, and so many, I don't know how many people are on TikTok, I don't know how many people are on Instagram, but there's got to be billions on. So you're never going to consume all of it. So the hit never stops. The deficit never ends. You're constantly looking for the same high, but unfortunately, you're not going to find it. So you're just endlessly scrolling, trying to get that same high, and it's a dang spiral, and it wastes your time. So on the daily, obviously, social media is taking away from what you could be doing outside of social media. Again, if your business is social media, if your side hustle is social media, more power to you. I have to be on social media for work. We post stuff on social media for work. We engage with things on social media. We're part of the problem because we're like, ooh, flashing lights, look at this. Look at this picture of Lainey Wilson. Look at this picture of Luke Combs. News story. Fun graphic, meme. We're part of the problem, okay? I get this. Again, if it's a part of your job, if it's a part of a way that you are growing something wonderful, take all of this with a grain of salt, okay? Don't come for me. But another way that social media is messing with our time is that it gives us a false sense of what time is. I don't know if you know this, but there's some research that has come out about how we engage with time and how that's changed over the last 20, 25, 30 years. And it's all because of technology. So it used to be back in the day before technology, let's go way back in the day, even before cell phones, before computers, there were different ways of understanding what time was. You would look at your watch, you would set an alarm, the sun. You want to go way back, circadian rhythm, wake up with the sun, go to sleep with the sunset, and, seasons of farming and stuff like that. All of that was a thing, the circadian rhythm, the natural rhythm of your body and how it interacts with the world and each day. Those were synced up, right? Well, then technology comes around and suddenly even technology can mean lights. The fact that I can turn on a synthetic light, I'm no longer relying on the sun to provide light to me. So now I can do things at night more often. But then computers come along and smartphones come along and things start changing. The natural rhythm is gone. We start to lose it, because we don't have to be so aware of time anymore because we have devices all around us that will tell us what time it is. And then you have things like social media coming in. You have things like suddenly you're now carrying a computer in your back pocket with your phone. Like all of this affects the way that we relate to time. Like our brain just isn't as present anymore. It's this constant stimulation that has flattened our memory. Part of your circadian rhythm is your memory. They always say that if you're going to, be successful in healthy eating or working out, establishing a routine is going to help you do that. And this works for other things besides just fitness and nutrition. But I'm more successful because I work out at the same time each day. I'm more successful because I eat around the same time every single day. There's a rhythm, there's a routine, right? But technology and my body remembers that. The body remembers, the brain remembers, so it knows how to operate when those times come around. But social media has flattened that memory. This constant engagement with technology has flattened it. I think I've shared this before in a podcast. It comes from a movie. I can't even remember the name of it. BJ Novak, Ashton Kutcher. And BJ Novak's character talks about how we're divided. And a lot of people will say, we're divided because of politics. We're divided because we think differently or we have different backgrounds or whatever it is. He said, honestly, what divides us is time. And I thought this was so brilliant. I wish I would have come up with it on my own. But he's like, we don't even watch the same shows at the same time anymore. If we even watch the same shows. We used to all gather together and watch American Idol. We used to all gather together to watch the same sporting events, like football, on the same channels, But now it's like, oh, you have it on Amazon Prime, and maybe you can watch more than one game or whatever it is. We're engaging with things at different times, and sometimes not even at all, and that messes with us, So this idea of social media giving us content anytime we want on any avenue. I mean, my algorithm is different than your algorithm, it's throwing us off. It's throwing off our game. And I think also we no longer see social media chronologically or sequentially. That's the word, right? I've shared with you, I come from the Stone Age when you could scroll through Instagram and you would be caught up on Instagram. Like you would get to the end of your feed and be like, you're all caught up. Go live your life. Okay, it didn't say that, but it did say you're caught up. We don't see that anymore. And I've picked up on this because, being in broadcast and being in media, sometimes we'll see something online and we're like, oh, we got to cover this story. And then we realize it's 2 weeks old. But it was just shown on my feed today. So do you see how even just the stuff that you're viewing on social media isn't even in order? It's complicated. It's confusing. And have you ever been that person? This happens to me a lot because I'm not on TikTok. But have you ever been that person that's like, oh, have you seen this trend? And all the TikTokers are like, yeah, that was 3 months ago. Oh, so we're not even on the same trends anymore. You see how our concept of time is just, it's blurry? It's like somebody wrote on the whiteboard all the hours of the day and then somebody brushed up against it and it's all kind of blurry. Or maybe they sprayed water on it and it's all kind of running together. We have no distinct time anymore because we don't even see it on our devices in order anymore. And it's also this endless present that we're living in. You know what I mean? Even if it was shown to us in order, the fact that we've got access to so many people and so many profiles across the globe, it's I thought this was just 2 p.m. and I feel like I've been living 2 p.m. for 8 billion people for 7 hours. You know what I mean? Our concept of time is just insane. All that to say, I went on some rabbit holes there, but ultimately we got to do something about this. we have to look at the way that we're engaging in social media because it's really messing with us. And if you're losing your time, if you're wasting 93% of whatever time you have left on this earth staring at a screen, that is not life. That is you watching other people live life. And you know what? It's not even their real life. It's their highlight reel. It's what they present to you. So I think what we need to do is get real specific on how we're engaging in social media, be honest with ourselves of how long we're engaging on social media every single day. There's apps to help you do that. There's functions on your smartphone that will help you do that. I know how much time I spend on average on a weekly basis, and I can go in and look at what apps specifically are taking up the most of that time. It's a little fuzzy because like I said, I use social media for my job. But again, I can set hard boundaries. I can set hard limits that keep me from just scrolling endlessly. Taking a day every single week to not be on social media has been a game changer. My social Sabbath is wonderful. Highly recommend. But maybe for you, it's like, you know what? When I come home from work and I sit down and make dinner for myself, my phone, my social media, my screens are put away for that hour and a half, or maybe for the rest of the night. Give yourself an opportunity to recharge. This matters because the more time that we spend just wasting away on social media, it's making us more depressed. It's making us more anxious. It's making us lose sleep. Insomnia is a thing. Social media induced insomnia is a thing. There's research to show this. Your brain needs a break. Your brain needs fresh air. It needs an opportunity to work and not just be fed a ton of crap. It needs a second to go, whoa, okay, let's process, let's reboot, let's get rid of the stuff that we don't need, and let's get to the stuff that we actually need in life. And I think taking breaks more often would help with that. Actually, there was a study that I saw online that said that if you take just a 1 to 2 week break from social media, you can reverse and reduce depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Like those negative symptoms that you're experiencing from social media. I don't know about you, but sometimes if I've been scrolling social media a lot or staring at a screen a lot, I just feel gross. Like not nauseous, but it's like I'm kind of like, oh, like my head's starting to hurt and like I don't feel well. Has nothing to do with what I was looking at. My body is literally telling me like, we're not meant to stare at this all day, every day. Can we please quit? So taking breaks physically helps you. Taking breaks emotionally helps you. Mentally helps you. Now, maybe 1 to 2 weeks is frightening to you, but a day a week, couple hours a day, I think that's doable. I think we can do that, especially us millennials. We remember the world before smartphones. We remember the world before the internet, okay? So we need to start putting those things in practice again and passing it on to the next generation as well. I would encourage you to set limits for yourself. I know it doesn't sound sexy. This sounds like you're treating yourself like a child. I think that's what we have to do. I think we're at that point right now where we are so far gone with social media that we do have to give ourselves hard limits and set boundaries. So I want to encourage you to do that and engage your brain in something else. Don't just say, well, I'm not going to be on social media, so I'll just go watch Netflix. Kind of sort of the same thing, right? It's passive. Your brain needs more activity. It needs more engagement. So maybe you pick up the phone and have a great conversation with somebody. Maybe you pick up a book and read. Maybe you just go sit outside in the quiet for a little bit, Maybe you pick up a hobby that you really love, but you tell yourself that you don't have time for that hobby because you've probably been spending that time in front of a screen. And again, I want to remind you, like all of this stuff that I'm saying to myself. Okay. I have an issue too. I can be distracted and totally absorbed with social media or binge watching. I am somebody who will have the TV on in the background just to have background noise. That feels like a total millennial move. I'll be honest with you. I don't need that. It can be quiet. I can listen to stimulating music. There's too much time with, a screen in front of our face these days. So I would encourage you this week to again, get honest with yourself with how you're using social media, how often you're using social media, and how social media might actually be stealing your life. Seriously. There are some things that you probably think, "Oh, I'll never do that because it would hinder my life," you know? And you know what those things are for you. They would hurt me physically, emotionally, mentally, so I stay away from them. And yet you've got something that you're probably holding on to right now. You're probably watching me on right now that is doing the exact same thing. I think it's about time we got real about that. And yeah, again, going back to that chart from Dino Ambrosi, I don't know about you, but if I've only got 334 months to work with on passion projects, engagement with loved ones, living life that isn't just work or sleep or showering, I want to do something with it. I don't want to waste it looking at content. So let's analyze our social engagement. Let's analyze our screen time this week, and let's make some changes. Let's set some hard limits for ourselves, and let's get out there and live. We'll be back with another part of the series next week. We'll dive into another way that social media is literally ruining your life. I'll see you next week.